wrapped up Expedition 33 and had a very great conversation afterwards.
I'm sure.
So yes, taking like once more into the trenches, standing there this time around, I feel for this journey for the entire game, I have had so much restraint. Like the entirety of the time that there was an opportunity to push in any direction, or I fucking abstained. I was Switzerland as fuck the entire time. And Reggie made his choice and stood on it. And I was like, okay, we can steal, man. Both sides of the argument here. Are you sure of your choice? You know, and then he did, and I'm like, that's the wrong choice.
Let me ask you a question. I think so. The time has passed for this comment, but there was a DLC that came out, right? And I think that anyone who chose wrong and played the DLC should be shamed.
I mean,
for being absolute bitches.
So yeah, look, you know, to not get into it, but of course, just obviously turn or steer clear if you don't want to hear major spoilers for Expedition 33. I'm not even going to fully pull them out.
I've said everything that I want to
say. Okay. Well, suffice to say that, like, the more you enjoy what the world of this game has to offer, the more that proposition on the back end changes, you know? And some real interesting stuff, because, you know, even going through it, there were points that I didn't catch in my run, in my going through the game, a big one of which was your Verso lore drop and your recontextualizer or his feelings and how they changed over time. And you just are like, oh my God.
A little more complicated.
Oh my God, the hypocrisy digs even deeper, because you once stood where we all are now and agreed with us. You were on the correct side. And then time passed, people changed, things happened, you know? Man, what an amazing finale to a game.
What a good.
That even all this time later, it's like the game is so good gameplay wise, and you're not even talking about that. You're just talking about the you know, the plot itself. I just
Are you gonna go up against the freaks in the tower?
No, we took a look. We took a look already.
It's
yeah.
Those exist in my heart for when I replay the game myself in whenever. I will know that goal exists at the end. For, you know, when I'm fresh, when I've played through the whole game myself and I have my highly optimized party that I've built the whole way, not something that I came back to 6 months later to do the DLC, and, you know.
But the best part, at least, about the biggest challenge there is, is just you can never be ready. Like, the readiest you can be is still requiring split-second decision-making, moment to moment.
Oh, absolutely.
With every swing. You know?
But the goal of the number is to make it so that you don't have to make as many of those split-second decisions. You can make 10% less or 20% less.
Yeah. The fight doesn't have to last any longer than it needs to. But there is
the best mitigation is more damage.
But the minimum you're going to have to do is, I would imagine, 3 turns, right? You're probably going to have to survive at least 3, you know, maybe more, if you're trying to fucking fuck with the Divergent star. Anyways, yeah, just loved that finale once again, and everything from the discussions to come afterwards. So good stuff there. And the it is interesting too to well whatever, not to crack it open too much, but like different interpretations on what your third path could have been, you know, that
I think it's actually fairly clear.
But I guess there's an element of it that, okay, I'm going to get into details for this part, for the
Spoiler
Expedition
warning.
33. All right. So the letter represents a path that could have been achieved if they...
To dream, yeah.
Right. If they talked about it, and if they were open and honest about what was happening with the world. And my question is, would that have been enough for them merely to present the letter that Alicia wrote and then discuss what the outcome should be honestly? Or would a requirement have been the letter and Gustav being alive?
That would be the second one.
Right? It feels like that on its own is not enough. You need Gustav alive with Mael for this third thing to work.
So I've thought quite a long bit about this, and it's like the decision, Versa makes the decision very early on that he's going to uniformly go for a singular goal, and he's going to eliminate or allow things to be eliminated that will stop him in that goal, right? Regardless if he changes his mind in the future, allowing Gustav to pass as well as throwing the letter away, like those decisions are made, right? If neither of those two things happened, somebody, Gustav, could have mediated a solution between all parties involved, and even still possibly actually fabricated a solution. The Lumina converter beats the logic of the world to such a significant degree that, given time and a non-threatening environment, there could have been solutions made.
Which means in that a product of the world created a system that breaks the world in a way that the gods of the world did not intend, meaning that is possible, thus putting another feather in the cap of how sophisticated life might be if you're willing to just dismiss it as disposable and put your toys away, go home, you know? It's yeah, and I think too as well, like there's that, and then of course there's him as, you know, also representing the ultimate in something Mael doesn't want to lose and will never want to let go of, and so on such, you know.
It's like, hey, congrats, Versa. You recreated the events that formed her personality the way that it used to be again, thus solidifying her resolve into being completely unshakable. She wasn't for sure about shit until the end of Act 1.
And one of the funnest details on this replay that I caught, so okay, I had like 3 pop-offs in secret. One was seeing Julie in an early cutscene, in the black and white vignette. The second was hearing real Verso screaming, burning to death, and how fucked up that is, because that's not your happy memory of the brother extending the hand, and whatever that trauma ends up being. But third and huge is at the cliff sides at the top of the Reacher, when Verso is like, no, wait, don't do it. Don't do the exact same thing that I'm going to do, because I don't want you to, when it's my sister, I don't want you to do it.
I want to be able to talk them out of it.
Yeah, because it's me though, right? Because it's my sister, so no. And it's like, you are in the exact same situation doing the same thing that you are now chastising Mael for barely a few moments earlier.
And similarly, Mael is like, well, it's what they wanted. But later, when it's her brother,
you've literally reversed the exact dynamic on each other with the same character even. You know?
Yeah, no, Verso at one point says we're all just hypocrites. No, is it Renoir? I think says we're all just hypocrites doing all the same things to each other.
Baked in hypocrisy.
And the whole narrative is propped up on like a singular assumption, which is a deeply human sentiment, which you and I feel very strongly, which is no, but that's my
But me
kid.
though.
That's my child. I don't give a
it
fuck
doesn't
about
matter.
the rest of you.
It's different when it's me. That's it. You know, and you take that and you put that on Renoir, and it's like, yeah, no, he gets to say it. He gets to stand on that. He gets to be like, I don't give a fuck. That's my family. I don't care what you say. And you know, and him looking at the creations as well, like Lun and Ciel are at the end talking to God and going and like actually like having a discussion about what it means to like, you know, accept the reality of this. And he's like, yeah, fair point, creation.
That's absolutely fair. I'm very sorry, but I gotta do what I gotta do for me.
You know? Oh man.
I think one of the most frustrating things that I've ever seen about any discussion is they're not even real. Who gives a fuck?
It's so
not a single character in the whole story has that view at all, even once.
I'm gonna infer that Clea feels that way. I'm gonna infer that Clea.
You know what? Yeah. Okay. Her alone.
Yeah. I'm gonna put that on her, even though she doesn't say it, right? But
like the actual villains, no, they like represent the autonomy and reality of the fake quote unquote people.
Yeah. You know, these citizens of Lumiere are just being so selfish by choosing to live. Like, don't they know that Verso's sad? You know? Yeah. It is it's interesting.
Yeah, no, Clea sees a version of herself and goes, ew, gross. I'm gonna put it into torment forever. Like
yeah. You know, something that like popped up too in this discussion is almost like I had a moment after we finished recording where I was thinking about like the idea of the child and Verso continuing to exist, and like how it's like the darkness of forcing that on somebody, right, that doesn't want it. And it's like, it is cruel to force an outcome on somebody like that doesn't want to live like this. But according to your logic, they're not real people who matter anyway, so who gives a fuck, right? Why would it matter? Why would it matter if they're painted, you know?
I was like, if I could do something that would make Verso suffer more, I would have done it. Like, oh my God.
Oh, man.
Fuck that piece of shit.
Yeah, it's real interesting to look at it and be like, you know, you need to close the book and grieve and do all of that. And also, who could leave this poor, suffering child and person here in this environment?
I could.
But from the person who's saying in the same breath, what you're saying is none of these people matter. So it's horrible to leave this person who doesn't matter suffering indefinitely, even though I just said they don't matter. You know, yeah. But you know, and this does go up and down, because one of the other takes on this is like, no, but if you're looking at it as a text, right, as a text that a writer would wrote and as a script, and the message of the story and what the intent of the writer is going for is to say that grieving needs to come to a close, and part of the process is to say goodbye. And because that's the text of this message, it means that automatically his choice is the correct choice, because anything that prolongs it is going against the message overall of what I have said, of what I think the whole thing is about. And it's like, that's horseshit. You can't just say that, no, that's the only reading of this, and then decide that, so I'm pulling out of the discussion because that's all there is to it. You know?
I mean, at the end of the day, the whole Omelas child soul thing, created life, whatever, is just a large scale trolley problem. And the trolley problem is this person hates being on this train track, but it keeps all these people alive. Do you blow up the train depot and shoot everyone inside. That seems like a remarkably poor solution,
and then
even by trolley problem standards.
And then the other argument point there being that, like, no, they were all dead anyways. There's nothing you could do, and it's like we don't have that level of information about the state of affairs after the fact. You can infer you can guess it, but you don't 100% know with absolute certainty that that's the case.
Like, I saw such a good shit rebuttal of us talking about the reality of certain characters, which was, bro, it's not even that deep, they're not real, LOL, which valid, but the real people in this story aren't real either,
Pat,
because it's a story,
Pat. That's why
they even look at the camera and say that.
That's why my favorite part of A Life to Love is the fact that that motherfucker is buried on December 33rd. That underlying thing that even if you wanted to go, okay, yeah, canvases aren't real, the writers aren't real, this magical world isn't, like, no. This reality that you are saying is more important is also not real.
Because it's part of a video game.
We have underlined how much we have made it. You cannot ignore that the reality is still not reality here to have this discussion. It's so brilliant. The multi-layering there is phenomenal.
I'd like to get into something that we never got into, which was, as we are talking about how good this shit kicks ass, wait, what? December 33rd used to be real? Hold on.
Is this the fucking French Farmer's Almanac calendar type of shit? Are we pulling up La Vendémiaire, Thermidor, Frumidor, etc., the months and the calendars, things that don't exist?
When was fucking December 33rd real? Ever? December 33rd does actually exist on the French Republican calendar.
Of course, fucking Ash Crimson.
Because every month had 30 days, but then there were 5 or 6 extra days added at the end of the year to make up of 365. When was the French Republican calendar?
Fucking Ash Crimson ruins everything once again.
French Republican calendar was used by the French government for 12 years, from 1793 to 1805.
Yes.
And for 18 days in the Paris Commune in 1871. That means the French calendar would not have December 33rd, 1905.
And there were the extra days that were sans culotte, right? Oh my God. Go look at fucking Ash.
Still fake. Still a fake, real, not a real place. France isn't real.
Every single one of this is the Frenchest shit ever. Go look at Ash Crimson's move list and watch that every name there is from this exact bullshit. These fake names, these fake months, these fake everythings. Funny how his plot ended up also being about, like, erasing and changing reality. Yeah. Oh my God, the France that doesn't exist. This is the France that doesn't exist brought forward.
Is this France's nobody?
Oh man, of course it's that same shit. Ventos e nivos, etc. Whatever. Okay, well, in any case, though, yeah, that's such a brilliant aspect of the way that shit was written, and yeah, and the hypocrisy is baked in, you know, with the characters on that one. But I think in the end, you know, as much as we let it down easy, and I'm like, okay, Reggie has picked a side, and I'm like, cool, I understand that, I respect it. I also think you're no longer human, and we'll just have to move forward in this reality. And I'll just, you know, your subhuman status is now a permanent stain, and it's fine. We'll learn to live with it.
So, someone in the chat brought out something that we never got to, which was, how come I love Expedition 33 so much, but I will shit on Star Ocean 3's ending until the day that I die?
Oh. Can I guess?
You want to guess?
I can guess.
Yeah, go for it.
Is it because the absolute audacity and fucking gall to pull that rug in the third game after 2 games of established existing lore that you went to bed, completed, slept on, and then only in the third entry in the franchise you went, actually none of that mattered, even though your feelings have already been settled?
The events of the 2 prior games you played, they were fabrications.
How do you not know that? That's a silly thing to ask, unless you
and obviously the bonus on top is for every subsequent Star Ocean game to go, yep, just gonna keep going with this nonsense in the background, and we're never ever gonna talk about it ever again.
If you were going to do that, and it's gonna be it sounds like dog shit regardless, I remember, but if you're gonna do it, you at least do it in the same game so that it happens in and you feel the way you do about that world the first time you're introduced to it, right? But this is like fucking introducing the concept of the Animus in Black Flag.
Yeah. So
you know,
one of the things, people are saying, well, due to your own logic, those things did matter in Star Ocean 1 and 2 because they mattered in 33. No, the story of Expedition 33, there's absolutely no discussion of free will. Everyone obviously has free will. They're all interacting with the universe as is. In Star Ocean 3, the only people to get free will ever are the protagonists of Star Ocean 3. Everybody else is just a bunch of fucking NPCs.
Sorry if you just wandered into that and you're planning to get around to it.
Oh, who gives a fuck? Fuck Star Ocean.
But just, yeah.
I love also here, and I'm going to give you one more as to why this is such a big deal for Star Ocean 3. Star Ocean 3 is okay. Star Ocean 1 is okay. Star Oceans 4 and 5 are okay. Star Ocean 2 is the good one. It's the one that's super good. And so as Star Ocean 2 is the good one, Star Ocean 3 coming along to be that one was kind of fake. Just to do it.
And
is like, shut up.
And here's the thing too. One, not only are you erasing an entire game that never acknowledged this from 2 things from the past that you already felt good about or whatever, but the discussion in Expedition 33 as well is more sophisticated because it's also bringing up and questioning the value. Now that you know the nature of this world being what it is, do you still care? Right? And correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, my big problem when I was playing Star Ocean 3 is that I got to the end of the game and I'm like, I already kind of don't care about this cast.
That's
already.
Okay. So the part where you've pulled back the curtain and you've made it like none of this matters. It's like there's no proposition to go, but do you think it should? Because I mean, the whole point going through Clair Obscur is like this did matter deeply, immensely. It absolutely mattered, and there's something human here that you have to kill in order to decide after all this time, I changed my mind, it doesn't matter, you know? And I don't think that that's what Star Ocean 3 was doing by pulling up to that top layer, you know?
So here's the thing. At least I genuinely mean this. Quality is a factor, right? So if I had gotten to the end of Star Ocean 3 being like, holy shit, this is like the best fucking game ever. Oh, this blows Star Ocean 1 and 2 out of the water. Holy shit. And then I got to that twist, I'd be softer. I'd be a lot more willing to like engage with it, right? But I didn't. The whole time I played Star Ocean 3, I'm like, man, this just isn't as good as 2 at all.
And I'm going to say, too, that, like, with quality being a factor as well, and this is nowhere near in the same realm, but still just for the purposes of discussion, when it comes to that Assassin's Creed Animus shit that I was just saying, like, at least in that situation, too, you're like, well, I'm replaying events of history that occurred, so they did matter at some point, right? It isn't just a complete nothing here matters at all, you know?
Yeah. When you get to the later games and they start playing fast and loose with what actually may have happened.
Okay. But there's a point that things are going through, at least with, in those early ones, where you're like, this is also you looking at events that occurred and so on, right? There's no complete just none of this means anything moment. In any case, yeah, that is a
in totality. Expedition 33 is a 10 out of 10 game, and as such, I was a lot more open to this type of twist. Whereas when I was slogging my way through the 6 out of 10 Star Ocean 3, and it decided to tell me that the 9 out of 10 Star Ocean 2 was actually fake, I was not open to this fucking twist.
Yeah. This is your Yoko Taro treatment of a script versus your David Cage treatment.
You know what? Tiger Fang in the chat is right. Tiger Fang 86 says, when things are good, it's better.
Sure. My favorite.
He's right. Dead on.
My favorite part was at the end of the Expedition 33 discussion when I asked Reggie, can a robot learn to be a human?
Can a human?
What?
The real question is, can a painting?
Yeah, but that's literally that. I'm like, okay, but all joking aside, this question actually represents this moment, and I'm really asking
because
it.
it's, can a painting learn to be a human? And then Gustav or Verso goes, can a painter?
What? Can a painter learn to be a human? Yes, exactly.
And then fucking Renoir and Aline are like, I don't get it.
Right.
What do you mean? I'm a person.
Yeah, and I was like, what is a human? What, and I'm like, well, whatever the fuck you're gathering out of this group out of the Centre family that you're saying matters enough to you emotionally to consider them people whose priorities and lives are worth saving. The same group of things is in all of these individuals in this city and has been demonstrably equivalent to me, and there's nothing here that says these fuckers on Mount Olympus are worth anything more than these people down here.
Guy in chat asking in chat, are they still on spoilers, while the spoiler talk logo is directly above our heads.
It's right up there.
You could move your head 2 centimeters to the left, bro.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's a hot take. I bet the writers were right to burn those fucks. These people are out of control. These fucking painters are such pieces of shit.
I had in my throat, I was preparing to say, well, at least, hey, you're on the right side of history here with me, buddy. And I appreciate that. And holy what the fuck? Okay. Okay. We're going to need more context. But we know that writers hate that and subtext while we're at it. But we listen. The jury's out on how that fire started, really. Right?
I'm of the opinion that the way that fire started is that the writers wrote a story in which the fire started. Because when I was streaming it, every single person and me all came to the same conclusion, which is that the writers operate under Alan Wake logic.
But then how much did Mael have to do with it, though? You know? Like, I
don't know.
Like, did you just open the door and let him in, or did you like fucking go and get the wicker and start and start?
In my head canon, they asked her to write a story about her family, which she would obviously know very well and be able to get all the details right. And then someone snuck in and fucked with her draft and said, and then they fucking burned down in a fire.
Or they gave her something and she read it, and by reading it manifest. It could be that. But
Alan Wake dream logic is such a good companion piece to playing Expedition 33, because Alan Wake logic seems incredibly confusing and nonsensical and retconny, but it's literally just, it happened because that's what was written down. And what And you're go, well, that's not internally consistent. And it's like, no, it is. At the second that you are looking at the page, is that what's written down right now? Then that is what happened.
It's not when the pen lifts off the page or the typewriter?
The pen lifts off the page, and that's the way it always was.
Okay.
And you're like, no, it wasn't. And you're like, yes, it is. That's the way things always happened. Unless you get a new page which explains that no, actually it didn't.
Okay. I see. Okay. I mean, what
it is like permanent retroactive continuity at any given time.
If we are in a situation where all Mael did was curiosity read something that a child wanted to know.
That's crazy.
That's insanity to put that level of guilt and build it and shove that on the kid. Yeah. That's fucked up. If it was she participated in some way creatively, then yes, there's more to be.
No, you know what
there.
it is.
But I don't get the sense that I don't get the sense that Aline is being reasonable.
They wrote in a little story, her little narrative, and they're like, and then that bitch left her curling iron on when she went outside. And the curling iron was like, I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna do it, guys.
She fell asleep with the cigarette in her hand. Yeah.
You know, that's such a French way to burn your brother down. That happened in my family. I have a relative who fell asleep with a lit cigarette and burned their house down.
That happened in an apartment I used to live in, dude. In the most French place in North America.
On the French side of my family, yeah. I should mention.
Here in Montreal, I lived in a building that like a lit cigarette and fallen asleep fucking cooked everything. It's the most French way.
Now, I know what a lot of people are thinking. Why would a lit cigarette burn your house down? Because we're talking about the mid-90s in which every single floor surface in the world is covered with the shittiest carpet you've ever seen.
Dubois, mon gars. Of course. The firmest, oldest, strongest wood. Anyways. Yeah, okay. All right. Good. And all this to say that you know, as I reach out and I talk to different friends, people are falling on the wrong side of history more and more on this one. And I cannot wait for whatever Sandfall makes next to come in and extra complicate this discussion.
Bro, hold on. Hold on. Expedition 33. Achievements.
You know, if we're in a situation where like the slightest bit more context about this world in the future changes everything. Oh.
There's no achievement for beating the DLC. Shit.
You wanted to see the percentage?
Well, no. What I wanted, because there's no achievement for a specific ending. It's just you beat the game. Because like the ideal for me is that you could check out the people's achievements and be like, oh, they got the achievement for the Verso ending, and then they got the achievement for beating the DLC, showing that they are in fact a coward bitch hypocrite.
Okay, for caring about the world and returning to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, listen.
You know what they should have done? They should have made that DLC only playable before the ending or after the Mael ending.
I mean,
if you pick the Verso ending, you should not. It should have fucking deleted the game off your hard drive.
Okay. We're in the Undertale genocide run. Like, hey, never mind the paid product. Or gamer curiosity. The ethics override all of that. The plot ethics mean you need to never open this game again.
It should have deleted your fucking save file like a Yoko Taro game.
Oh shit. Yeah. I remember having a proper discussion about that with Undertale as well, of just like, you know, do you properly see that? Do you probably see that genocide ending and the permanent conclusions thus are of? Do you see it as curiosity for someone who's playing a video game that wants to see all things, or do you
Absolutely.
or do you accept the in narrative like, no, you don't need to, you know? And I'm
So
like,
here's my favorite part about that. I was like, I want to see everything there, but you know what? Data mining and fucking around in the guts of the Undertale save file system also canon within Undertale.
sure, yes, exactly, right. If you want to gaster your path, I mean, you should at that right, but at that point, it's like, well, okay, don't do this, but you made it the sickest, funnest moment in the game with the hypest music and the the highest challenge possible, appealing to the deepest, dankest gamer in you. So, anyways, all right. That's all good stuff. Spoiler discussion over.